In this video, we're going to be taking a look at converting this image into a 3D printed model for a keychain. And we're going to be using chat to remove our green outline here and kind of clean this image up a little bit to simplify this process for us. So first thing we want to do is bring in the image in question here into ChatGPT. And we'll go ahead and ask it to remove our green border and to clean up the image and get it ready for us. I would like to remove the green outline border and convert the rest of the image just to a black and white image on a solid white background suitable for 3D printing and vinyl cutting. And we'll go ahead and send that to chat. Now I do pay for the chat subscriptions, $20 a month, and it's really quite useful because pretty much every image that I go to convert into a 3D model now goes to chat first to clean it up, simplify it, modify it however I want, um, and then it's ready to go. So you can see the result that we got with chat. It did exactly what we were looking for. So let's go ahead and right click and copy our image. And now we'll hop over to Inkscape here and we'll right click and paste our image. And then we will right click and click on trace bitmap. And we'll simply hit apply. And there we go. That is our vectorized version for Spades. If we take a look at the outline, you can see nice perfect outline as well. So the next thing is let's go ahead and resize this to our finished keychain size, which in this case, I'm going to make it 75 millimeters wide. So we can lock and change the width here to 75. Okay, so by locking it, when I change the width, it automatically changed the height proportionately. Now what I'd like to do is go ahead and add in my green outline, put that back into place. So to do this, we're going to right click on our image and duplicate it. Come over here to our layers and objects tab. And so you can see now we have two of these paths. So we're going to select the lower one. Let's just select a different color. And then we're going to come over to path effects here. And we're going to go ahead and choose offset. Now, if your copy of Inkscape does not have path effects, we have an Inkscape setup video that walks you through the initial setup of Inkscape. But if you're trying to find this, right over here, see there's all these drop down arrows can get confusing, but it's this very top one. And you'll find path effects right there. Okay. But anyhow, we're going to offset this 1.5 millimeters. So we just type in 1.5. And there you go. And that's exactly what I needed. So now I'm going to come up here to path and object to path and see all these little interior white spaces. We need to get rid of those. So we're going to hit path and break apart. And now those are all gone. But then we'll do path in union. And now what that does is it gives us one solid back piece here. Okay. And that's what we want. So now what we want to do is go ahead and take our black and let's go to path and let's break it apart. And then we're going to go over here to our layers and objects. And what I'm going to do is take the very topmost path. It's always the very topmost path in this particular situation. And I'm going to slide it all the way down just above the very bottom object here. And let's just go ahead and give it a different color just so we can see this more clearly. I'm going to go ahead and select everything. And then I'm going to shift select the blue and the pink. And we're going to go ahead and hit Control K. All right. And what that is the same as if we were to go to path and combine. So now we have our black shape selected. And let's convert that to white. And then this is going to be kind of that dark green. And then our blue is going to be our black. And so now you can kind of see we have our original setup ready to go here. All right, so that's kind of phase one, and then we're going to do an alternate option here just to show you an alternate thing we can do. And that is we're going to take our white. So we have our white selected, and then we're going to shift click our black. So now you see they're both selected. We're going to duplicate those, so we can right click and duplicate here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the white from the black. So to do that, we would just use Control minus, which is the same as if we were to come up here and choose path and difference. You see that keyboard shortcut right there, Control plus minus? So now we can't really see what's happened here, but if we pull this apart, now you can in fact see that, right? So just to kind of follow through here, we have a white piece, we have a black border piece, we have a black piece, and then we have our green piece, okay? So that's how that one's all stacked up. Then over here, we just have white, black, and green, okay? So that's it. That's all the artwork that's necessary here in Inkscape. So you can see it's very, very simple to use Inkscape. We didn't really have to know a lot about Inkscape. We had to make an offset. We had to do a subtraction or a difference command, but very simple stuff. So let's go ahead and save this. So we'll save it to our desktop here, and we'll call it Spades. Now we already have one, so we are going to override it. All right, so that's it for Inkscape. So now we go into Bambu Studio and turn it into a 3D model. And here we are inside Bambu Studio. So let's go ahead and import our Spades SVG file that we just created in Inkscape. So we'll hit Control I. And right here, there is Spades. So we have two different versions here. So we're going to right click firstly and split to objects. And then we're going to shift click this side and right click and merge. And then we're going to shift click this side and right click and merge. And let's just start over here on this side. So we select this assembly and we'll go to our objects tab. And if we look at the assembly, we have three pieces. We have our back plate, which in this case is going to be, let's change this light green into a darker green. And then we'll change 3 to black. So those are the three colors for our keychain. So the first piece is going to be that dark green, and its scale is going to be 4 millimeters thick. That's what I usually make keychains. And then our next piece here, that is going to be our black, and so that's going to be 2 millimeters thick. And then finally, our white is going to be 2 millimeters as well. So now because this is white, we're going to hit 2 on our keyboard, and that will change the color. And then this one, we're going to make it 3 because it's going to be black. So now what I have to do is just set my Z heights. So we'll go here to the Move tool. Now because we're making keychains, I'm gonna set this particular Z height at 4. Now what this does, and I guess we should take a look at it here just so you can see. What this actually does is our back plate is 4, and then our black is 2, but I set this at 4. I set the Z height at 4, and so what happens is this distance here is only 1 mil. If I alt click this, you see part of this design is embedded into the green. And that's just what I typically do for keychains. All right, so that's taken care of now. And then, so for the white here, we would set that Z height at 5. And so you see part of the white is now embedded into the black. And so we have 4, 1, 1. And that's it. That's what I would like. So let's go ahead and put on our little key tag. So we need a key tag for our keychain hardware. And we don't ever, 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 never want to poke a hole in our logo. I've seen that done so many times. No, we'll just add a key tag. So we'll go to our desktop here and search for key. Now this key tag is really nothing special. It's just a circle. It's an 8mm circle with a 4mm circle, and it's 4mm thick. But this file is on our free Patreon, which that information is in the video description where to find that. So this is a free file you can download, and we just want it sticking out far enough to allow for our keychain hardware to connect to it. So that looks pretty good to me. Now, in order for this to print, we need to connect the keychain, this little key tag, to the actual assembly. So we'll select that and then Shift Control the assembly, right click and merge. And now that is ready for printing because it's all one unit. All right, so that takes care of that one. Let's move on over here and kind of repeat the same process. It's very, very similar. So we'll select this, and you can see now we have 4 pieces. So the first piece, of course, is 4. And then the next piece here is our black, just like previously. So we'll hit 3 and 2. The next piece is white. So we'll go ahead and make that white. And it is also 2. And then our last piece here, well, that's going to be black. And let's make it 2, I believe. I believe that's what we want. So now all we have to do is figure out our z heights. So back to the beginning here, we know that this first one's going to be 4. And we know the next one's going to be 5. So up to this point, it was exactly the same as the first one, right? Up to this point. These two look identical. Where we added a little extra was this black outline here. So let's go ahead and set that at, let's begin at 5 and see if that is the right height. Because honestly, I'm not sure. It is not. So let's go ahead and alt click the outline and let's set that at 5.5. Let's take a look here. So what are we doing here? Let's take a look. Hopefully we could see this where it makes some sense. Let's find a good angle here. Okay. So you see what we've got here where the white is just a 1/2 millimeter down below our black. And I don't know. I personally like that effect a little bit better. So we could have that. So this is at 5.5. Let's go ahead and make it at 6 just so you can see the difference. If we did move that to 6, now that would set in 1 millimeter total depth. And I don't like that as well. So I'm going to back off to 5.5 just because I think that looks a little bit better. So I like that extra little recess. Um, it's subtle difference. You know, I would suggest printing them both and see if you have personal preference. But this is the one I like. It's just a little extra. So same thing. We need to go ahead and Control I and import our key tag again. So we'll search for key. There's our key tag. We'll move it into place here. And same thing as before. Let's position it where we want it, and I think that's good. Now I want to go ahead and slice this. I'm just going to slice it normally because I want to show you the error message that we're going to get. So let's slice our plate. We will get an error message. And you see right down here, it says the conflicts of G code. You'd be surprised how many times I get questions about that exact error message. And 99.9% of the time, it's because there's 2 objects on our build plate, and these objects are not combined together in the assembly. And so the slicer is trying to create this object, but then it's also trying to create this object, and it can't because there's a conflict there. And so that's the warning. So if we take our key tag, Shift Control the assembly, right click and merge, and now we slice. You see it slice OK, and we get perfect result, we're ready for printing. So that is all there is to it, folks. So not too bad. So if we understand our slicer, that will get us, 75% of the way there. The artwork part of it, we have to create properly so we can convert it into our model. But you can see the two programs together really simplify this process, and we can get this knocked out very, very quickly. So that's it. That's how it all works. So hopefully this helps you out. Um, and we do have live training classes every Monday night, and sometimes periodically throughout the week as well. But for sure, every Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we do projects like these and others. So if that's something you might be interested in, all you have to do is join our free Patreon, and you'll automatically get an email notification with the class link every Monday. So uh, all of that information and details is in the video description below, and you might also want to join our Facebook group, and that information is in the video description as well. So until next time, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or need one-on-one training or some custom files made for you, this is my contact information, so feel free to reach out via email. You can text me. You could even give me a call. I'd be happy to answer questions or give you more details on the one-on-one training we offer, and as well as if you need custom files made until you are up to speed on how to make them yourself, feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to help you with that as well.